What's going on, y'all? Welcome back into another anime reaction video. Today we're going to be reacting to, and breaking down some Chainsaw Man. At the time of this recording, there is currently only one season of Chainsaw Man with 12 different episodes, and every single episode actually has a different ending. But before we get to those endings, we are going to be watching the one Chainsaw Man opening as well to kick off today's video. As always, comment down below what you want to see me react to next, and if you go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel. I really would appreciate it so very much. And of course, if you want to enjoy the uncensored version of today's video, check it out over on my Patreon. Link will be down in the description. Let's watch some Chainsaw Man. As I've already mentioned, we are going to be starting off with the only Chainsaw Man opening at this point in time. The title of it is Kickback, so no pun intended. Let's kick back and watch and see what's in store for us. Also, I have no idea what this show is about, but I've obviously seen the images of the guy who literally has a chainsaw as a head. Okay. Feels like relatively normal so far. I obviously have not seen like a chainsaw yet, other than the heck was that guy doing with that bowling ball? Power? Is that what that said? I'm just really curious what the okay, there is wait, what? Oh my goodness. Okay, so maybe it was the thing that she was feeding him that turned him into that guy? The Chainsaw Man? I feel like more than any other anime, I want to watch just the first episode of this, so I really understand how that change happens. Because it kind of feels like it's within his head, but also I think it's something that actually is a physical transformation he goes through. Wow, okay. That was pretty cool, honestly. I like that a lot. All right, first reaction from that opening. It felt pretty normal the first maybe 20 or 30 seconds. Then, of course, he like sprouts this chainsaw from his forehead, almost like a unicorn. I think it was from the thing the girl fed to him. I'm not exactly sure. I think I'm also curious what the plot of a show called Chainsaw Man could really be about. I feel like if I was writing this show, the first season would really be about him like learning to come to terms with the fact that he has a chainsaw coming out of his forehead. And I think his hands too. Weren't his hands chainsaws as well? Overall, a very enticing opening. I really need to watch the first episode of this show. I think I might actually do that in the next few days, if I'm being completely honest. We'll see how many of these endings actually give us a bit more information as to what the show might actually be about. There are 12 in total, so ending number 1 is going to kick us off here. Let's see what's in store. Oh, weird. It's almost like, what were those toys where you like could pull their limbs and they would always go back together? Is Chainsaw Man unique within anime in that each episode is a different ending rather than each season? Is there any other show that does that? I'm getting some sense of like zombies maybe within this world. Oh, okay, so he pulls that, and is that what turns him into the Chainsaw Man? And I wonder how this little... Oh, that's cool. I like the music. It feels like he somehow is, like, fighting a zombie apocalypse or something. Yeah, his arms are definitely chainsaws, too. This feels so different from anything I've seen so far. I like the song a lot, honestly. His little pet that's also a chainsaw person. I think I would love this show. And I've only seen the opening and the first ending so far. That was fantastic, man. All right, ending 1, I'm definitely hooked. I'm 100% watching this in the next few days, guaranteed. I think I also learned that when he pulls on the little string that comes out of his chest, that's what turns him into the Chainsaw Man. His little pet that also has the chainsaw, I think I remember from the opening that the pet actually had the chainsaw before he got the Chainsaw Man powers. I'm so excited to watch this, actually. I need to know how this transformation comes about. Overall, ending 1, I'm super hooked. Let's see if ending 2 can entice me to watch just as much. Okay, a little heartbeat. Is this supposed to like symbolize his heart, or maybe the heart of the city? Okay, the animation style is completely different in this one. I think I like the first one a lot more so far. Okay, I think this is the girl that fed him the thing in the opening. That I think is what turned him into the Chainsaw Man. The nice part about this show is it's a relatively new anime. So the commitment to watch the whole thing at this point in time doesn't feel quite as intimidating as something like Naruto or One Piece. Okay, he falls through the puddle. This ending feels a lot more symbolic than the last one did. Ooh, what was that? Still haven't really figured out what's going on with the girl with the horns and the weird looking eyes. What her deal is. It almost felt like she secretly gave him this thing and like made him transform into the Chainsaw Man against his will, rather than it being something that she was like, here, you should do this. Ending number 2, I didn't dislike it. I still definitely prefer ending number 1. That first one just comes at you full force and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I watching right now? Whereas the second ending, just the style of it felt a little bit more artistic, maybe even symbolic in nature. Seems like the guy with the umbrella and the bun, or the, you know, the longer hair, I'm assuming that's maybe like the best friend role in this show, and that the girl with the horns and the weird looking eyes is probably the person that gets him involved somehow in this whole thing of turning into Chainsaw Man, and maybe even like fighting these zombies that we saw from the first ending. I'm really hoping ending 3 has more info. Why do I feel like I've heard this song? Is this going to be one of those shows where the endings of every episode alternate from like hardcore metal to very peaceful on the even numbered ones? I'm really hoping I don't have to mute any of these for copyright, because this song goes hard. Oh my gosh. Bro, what's happening right now? I feel like this ending is made by someone on drugs. In the best way. Okay, kind of an interesting switch up there. It's such a fascinating concept for a show. Like, who thinks of something like this? Like, yeah, it's a guy with a pull string out of his chest, and if he pulls it, his head turns into a chainsaw. I wonder how symbolic that was in terms of... It almost looked like the pet thing from the previous endings that we saw. Whoa. I think the first ending is still my favorite. I definitely liked it more than the second ending, and I think that's just kind of because it tended more towards my style of what I look for in something like an opening or an ending. I like the stuff that comes at you full force and really hits you. The one thing that I really focused on as well was when it sort of zoomed in on his chest, the pull string. It looked like the pet thing that he had with him from the first ending and the opening as well, almost within his chest. Again, I don't know if that's symbolic or if that means that was like implanted in him. My main question, which I'm sure is answered and probably in the first episode of this show, is really how does he get these powers? Okay, ending 4. Here we go. Oh my gosh. These endings are so over the top so far. Besides the second one, I guess. Is she spelling something? I feel like she was low-key spelling something with her hands. I like the style of this one. Her teeth did the same thing in the last, or maybe 2 endings ago. Just throwing fruit. I do appreciate that the style of all of these endings feels very different from one another. That looks almost like motion captured, doesn't it? I don't know. That the movement of her felt very human. Like you know what I mean? Like 3D human. Handcuffs? Okay. So we barely got any of the protagonist of that show in that ending, which I honestly don't mind. I think that just indicates to me that maybe whichever episode that was, episode 4 of that first season, probably delves more into her character, I would imagine. And I hope I'm not remembering incorrectly from the opening of this show that she's the one that gave him that thing that I guess is what turned him into the Chainsaw Man. I want to know more about her motivations, maybe behind why she did that. Her role in the show is probably more important than we may have realized initially from the first few endings. We'll see if they expand upon that in any of the other endings that we're going to watch here today. Ending number 5. Let's do it. Wait, who's this girl? Oh, wow. Wait, who is this? Have we even... Is this a new person? This one is kind of trippy, too. What is going on with that centaur's upper body, dude? This is the best one visually so far, I would say. The music's pretty good, too. This is just so all over the place. I love the horse theme going on, though. I think that's already the 3rd time we've seen it in this ending. I think that's the buddy, because this buddy was the one that had the sword on his back. I say his buddy. I assume it's his buddy. Alright, transform. Oh, dude. I kind of appreciate that the end of that one was just like him staring into the abyss, like us expecting this chainsaw to like pop out of his head, then it just ends. Aesthetically, that one was super abstract, which I loved, actually. Visually, my favorite ending so far. I would say probably hands down. Loved the song as well. That definitely added to everything. I think sometimes I can honestly get in my own head when I'm doing these reactions, because pretty much constantly I'm always asking myself, well, why is that way? What are the motivations behind that character? Like, what is the decision-making process that went into this choice or that choice that the character is making in the opening or the endings in these cases? So we'll see if whether in endings 6 through 12, the ones that remain, we happen to get more of those inclinations towards those motivations. Dude, these looks so cool visually. This is like, what's that weird abstract piece of art that's really well known? Like where the stairs like intersect, but it works both ways. You know what I'm talking about? That's what that reminds me of. I know this is a really new anime, which is probably also part of why I think it just looks really good. Visually, I mean. But it's not just that it looks good. It's that it's like stimulating to parts of your brain that you're like, whoa, what am I looking at right now? Oh, interesting. Okay, here's our Chainsaw Man. It's kind of curious. We haven't really seen him fighting anyone except for in the first ending. And then maybe kind of in that third ending that was the over-the-top one. What's the symbolism of this stairwell in this one? Okay, I did catch something there at the end. That it seems like he's still aware of himself when he's in the Chainsaw Man form. The reason I say it is because in the end of this ending, it almost looked like he was hugging someone as he was in the Chainsaw Man version. Or the Chainsaw Man form, I guess I should say. Which would lead me to believe he is like consciously aware of what he's doing in that form. Other than that, this one was very focused on that like winding stairwell and more sort of abstract looking art with the ending, which I love that. Really have not had an ending that I didn't enjoy, maybe with the exception of ending 2. But we're now officially halfway through these, so we'll see if the back half has even more in store for us. Ending number 7. Okay. I'm digging the vibes. Almost like a weird, like, 90s neon aesthetic with this one. Like with the TV and everything. Yeah, like even like a retro video game. Look at that. I appreciate how different each of these endings are. So, are he and the girl with the crazy eyes? I feel like there's some sort of romantic connection there. Although she seems a little cray-cray, if I'm being honest. I feel like we've definitely seen her before. What did I just watch? We're definitely going to have to break that down a little bit more. This is like screaming 90s. What? Okay. No need to point out the obvious elephant in the room with that one. But like, I couldn't tell if their tongues were like intertwined or if they were both like puking rainbows into each other's mouths. Clearly that was the part that stood out from that one toward the end. Like, what the heck did I just watch? Having said that, I did think the vibe of that ending was pretty cool. Very 90s aesthetic, these neon colors, the retro TV, you know, the old video game looking, you know, almost Pokemon-esque looking video game. I actually thought that one was really cool. Very unique. Perhaps maybe the most unique of any of the ones we've seen so far. Although, to be fair, I feel like they've all been really unique and different from one another. So props to the show creators in that regard. Quick side note before we watch ending 8. I'm curious if moving into future seasons of this show, they're going to continue to have a different ending for every single episode. I mean, I don't feel like that would be super easy to do as show creators, to have a different ending for every single episode of a show. That's wild to think about. Anyways, ending number 8. Let's check it out. I feel like that's maybe like the 3rd or 4th time we've seen the crosses together. So a little bit of religious symbolism, it seems, in this show. Look, there it is again. Looking at a graveyard here. This one feels almost like a bit of a movie. She scares me. I don't know what her deal is. The crazy eye girl. I don't know how long the episodes of this show are, I feel like I could watch this in one day if I really wanted to. Bro, she got some crazy eyes. Was the girl that was lying there in the forest at the beginning of this one the same one as the eye patch girl? Or were those two different people? Okay. Almost like life and death themes in this one. I think this is kind of a theme that occurs pretty frequently within anime, at least from my experience. This one especially seemed to focus on particularly like death with the graveyard and the cemetery, but also like the duality between life and death. Like you saw several times, like there was something like the flowers, for example, that were alive. It would flash and then they were dead. Or I think there was one where there was like a butterfly where it was, you know, flying, flashed, and then it was dead, or, you know, something to that effect. Also, the more and more of these that I've watched, the more and more uneasy I get about the girl with the little horns and the crazy eyes. Something about her, man, just feels off. The other thing I would say is that the girl with the horns and the crazy eyes doesn't really feel necessarily like a part of the group in a way that I would think she might be if she wasn't a bad guy. Like, hear me out. There's the main protagonist who almost feels like he turns into Chainsaw Man, perhaps initially against his own will. Maybe it's like something he's come to terms with by this point in the show. And then there's the guy who I've been calling the best friend, the man bun with the katana guy. Seems like kind of a normal dude for the most part. And then, of course, the eye patch girl, who's been occurring a lot more recently in some of the more recent endings. And then there's the crazy eye girl, who something about her, I don't know. I want to know a little bit more about her. Hopefully she's showcased in some of these last few. We got 4 more endings on the way. Ending 9, here we go. Ooh. Look at how there's like the little almost pixelated overlay on everything in this one so far. This one feels like very fluid. I like it. That's a couple times that we've seen hands like grab an eyeball. I think that was in one of the first endings too. Oh, maybe it's the girl with the eye patch's eye. Oh, I feel like that's got to be it, right? I think the girl with the eye patch, that eyeball we keep seeing, is her eye. Man, these are almost so abstract. I love it, don't get me wrong, but great song. What are these? Are these like intestines that we're seeing? I mean, it's definitely meant to be something like bodily related. There was another cross. We've seen a lot of cigarettes too. I don't know if that pertains particularly. That ending was almost so abstract that I didn't get a ton from it per se. I think it just reinforced a lot of the things we've seen already. Blood and body parts are definitely like key themes of this show, it would seem. And then apart from that, what I just mentioned during the ending, of course, was that the eyeball, I feel like the girl with the eye patch, because that's not the first time we've seen the eyeball too. I think we've seen that in multiple endings before this. Like, I would be willing to bet that that is her eye. She keeps doing this thing where like she does her hands, and that's not the first time we've seen that either. I feel like everyone in this world has some sort of weird thing about them. Like they might have a chainsaw sprout from their head, or they might have like super creepy eyes. I think the creepy eye girl has a lot more going on than just creepy eyes, don't get me wrong. The eye patch girl seems a little off too based on this ending. And then there's the katana dude, who that seems like a normal guy. I don't know. I might be wrong on him as well. We'll see if maybe we get some insight into him in one of these last couple openings. Endings, sorry. I don't even want to know how many times in this video I've probably said openings instead of endings. Ending number 10. Here we go. Whoa. It's almost like everything except the drawing of him is like a photo negative. This all looks like photo negative real life stuff that was filmed, other than the characters that were drawn themselves. I just feel like the creative minds behind the artistic styles of these, it'd be really cool to be a part of. Oh gosh, I might have to blur that for the YouTube edit. I probably will, actually. Wow, I keep seeing more of these, and I feel like the uniqueness keeps getting topped. Like, I guarantee nothing like this has been done in any other anime. He's still not turned into Chainsaw Man yet. Wow, okay, maybe that one takes the cake for most unique. I'm pretty sure, like, that whole thing was actually filmed and then was really just a photo negative. And then they drew the characters over the photo negative. If that was hand animated, that is incredible. I actually want to know more specifically about ending 10 and how that one was made. Comment down below if you have any info on that one as well. Having said that, he didn't really turn into Chainsaw Man during the ending. I think that one really just stands out for how unique it is, honestly. Other than that, it was just kind of okay, but the uniqueness alone gets it by as one of the best ones so far, I would say. And now we've got the penultimate ending number 11. We'll see what's in store. Ooh. Did he say violence to start? Is that what he said? Okay, okay. This one feels similar to, maybe it was ending 7 or 6. I can't remember. There's one toward the middle. I like it, though. I like it a lot. This one feels the most like an opening, I think, of any of them so far. Huh. We in a Minecraft world here? What's it say on her shirt? 76.1? Wait, who's that? I don't know if I knew who that was, do I? I probably have seen her. Oh, here he is, Chainsaw Man. I think he is saying violence. Huh. Wait, I remember seeing that guy in the opening with the bird face. Or not bird face, but like almost plague doctor. Okay, there at the end, definitely another emphasis on the theme of blood. Something that I guess you would expect from a show called Chainsaw Man, if I'm being completely honest. I appreciated how much that one really focused in on some of the characters. That's something that we haven't had from a lot of the recent endings. I think there was a character in there that I don't think has been in any of the other endings, but I'm pretty sure was from the opening at the start of the video. The one with the, like, plague doctor face, the long nose at the end. I think that was the first time we've seen that character so far. And at a certain point in the episode, Chainsaw Man was like falling down from a... And at a certain point in the ending, Chainsaw Man was like falling down from a building. And then Crazy Eye Girl had 2 daggers. And it happened back to back. So it was almost like, is she fighting him? Again, I don't think she is bad necessarily, but it feels like she somehow has ulterior motives or intentions from the protagonist, and maybe even from the group as a whole. And of course, last but not least, ending number 12. This is our last one, and then we'll break down all the endings cumulatively and talk about them as a whole. Let's do it. Okay, this one feels like a lot more normal, and I can confirm that number was 76.1 on her shirt. Okay, see that now in this one, they do seem kind of buddy-buddy more than some of the other ones. Actually, this one feels very much like an opening, too. She's got, like, sharp teeth, too. Maybe she's, like, not even a human. He's got sharp teeth, too. I don't think the other dude does. Yeah, he definitely doesn't. Okay, the teeth is a thing I've noticed for the first time, surprisingly. Yamato beer. This one feels like very cozy. I like this one a lot. It feels so normal. Watch him like sprout the chainsaw at the very end. Or maybe not. Okay, the last one was surprisingly really normal and wholesome and genuine. In a weird way, I almost appreciate the simplicity of that one more than maybe any of the other endings. I think one of the other good parts about that is it's really character-driven and character-centric. We were really able to focus in on some of the relational aspects between who I would assume are the main three characters. And then, of course, the big takeaway from that one that I think I noticed for probably the first time was not only that she has the sharp teeth, which I definitely noticed before, that he has the sharp teeth too. And I think that is probably a result of the thing that she fed him in the opening that we saw. Guaranteed I am watching this show. Absolutely. I need to know, first of all, how he turns into a chainsaw man. Second of all, I need to know why. Even the ones that were over the top, so many of the moments were just jaw-dropping that while you were completely unsure of what was actually going on, you almost don't care because it's so mind-boggling to contemplate what you're looking at. You're like, dude, I don't even really care. I just think it looks awesome. I don't really know what it says about me if the idea of someone inheriting the powers to turn into literally a triple human chainsaw sounds cool and really enticing to me. Hopefully in the next few weeks, I'll be able to do a complete reaction and breakdown of all the episodes in this season. In summary, the three main characters I think seem to be at the very core of this show. And ironically, I think I relate with each of those three in different ways. Main protagonist who turns into Chainsaw Man, probably going to end up being the coolest character, more than likely. Crazy-eyed girl, the character that I definitely want to know more about, probably more than anyone else. It seems to be the most intriguing character to me at this point. And then, of course, the best friend with the man bun and the katana probably fits into the style of character that I would personally most associate myself with. Let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are on Chainsaw Man if you've seen the show. I am very much looking forward to watching this one in the very near future. Also, let me know down below what anime I should react to next. Appreciate each and every single one of you, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Peace. I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who subscribed over on Patreon. I really appreciate your support so much. Remember, you can check out all the uncensored reactions to these episodes as well as much more over on Patreon.